Man, what even is this show? I sound like a broken record, but you can't with a straight face tell me otherwise. The past 6 weeks at this point? I don't even know. They keep blowing my mind, and I know I'm not alone. I see the comments. I see people saying that absolutely... It's like, you think you know what to expect, and then Chuck Kun comes in and says, "Nuh-uh, I'll show you what's up." The ending alone of this episode, remember 2-3 weeks back, something like that? I was like, man, it's kind of weird, it's not really like Dee's trying to keep his identity a secret. It kind of feels like, the way he's trying to protect exes and everything, he was kind of exposing himself. He's not going to really be able to keep the Hibiki identity going, and, next episode, D versus Bluekeeper. Everything I've seen with Blue makes me think he could work with us, but it's like, the fact that we got such characterization with D, going from, I'm just gonna crush every type of keeper out there, all the cadets, everyone, to actually, similar to my own side, leadership doesn't value the underlings. So I'm gonna support and protect these cadets, but I'm still gonna tear down the leaders of this group. And it's like, you don't see that development coming the same way you don't see the giant freaking chest-sized hole that goes through that boy's... I don't know how he was talking, but I'm glad that they seemingly killed him, because I don't think slapping a band-aid on that gonna fix it, but what a freaking episode. Full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full uncut thoughts and mind break in real time, it's over there exclusively. Oh man, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a split core if rumors are to be believed. These are rumors that I read many months ago, but it comes from all the same people that get everything else right, so I'm willing to believe it. And yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like they're trying to stop with episode 12. It feels like episode 12 is going to end on some sort of a bang, and probably come fall, shit's going to really start going crazy, because Dee's character is probably the actual most shocking thing about this show, and the evolution, because not only do we kill Petrola, which is, I thought he was getting away, I'm going to be honest, I thought he was getting away, which was fantastic. It's the development of what he does and how he looks at the cadets, because I do think, at the end of the day, a lot of Hibiki's mindset of changing it from the inside is still going to end up being Dee's core characteristics long term. But it isn't gonna immediately switch overnight or over a few weeks or a few months, however long he's been here, right? So the idea that he's actually looking at the cadets and those that he's been surrounded by as like, they don't deserve to, like, that moment when that girl is being held up by Petrola and he tells everyone to collectively put their weapons down. Now, even though there was a big plan in motion, and probably very clearly, Dee was hoping he'd be able to get the jump, but the idea that he didn't just say, "Go ahead, kill her," and they all rushed to stab him, because, well, yeah, she would have died, they also would have killed him more than likely. The idea that, because if you look at Dee as a character, he was a grunt soldier, and for how many years after the leaders just either upped and vanished, bent the knee, or whatever else happened, they weren't strong enough to even complete the mission, the grunt soldiers were left to basically be treated like livestock for WWE TV. And the idea that he has such a hatred for that level of leadership, but is actually able to look at those that are surrounding him as not the same type of corruption and deserving of that trust, is very interesting development. But even though you're not expecting it, once you see it, it just totally makes sense for his character. The thing is that, especially with the full backstory of Bluekeeper and everything that happened, this is the type of guy that I really think would get along with Dee, but I don't think he's the type of person who could just let a duster go. I think Dee could make a deal from his side with Bluekeeper. I just don't think Bluekeeper can make a deal from his side, and that's why I'm thinking that they have to kill Bluekeeper, because you don't walk, like, unless he takes a new identity, which would be foolish, but also that could work. I don't know, it's not often you'll get 11 out of 12 episodes into a core, and you have seen what it should have for tricks up its sleeve, so usually it gets pretty easy to predict. That's why I get a lot of predictions right on this channel, because once I've seen like 1,000 anime. It's in that area, or very close to it in terms, I just haven't properly tracked everything, but it's pretty close. And once you understand how storytelling is done in this medium, Predictions get very easy to do, but the reason I struggle with this show is I don't really find myself comparing it to other shows, so I don't really have that reference, and how out of box its thinking actually is. The way, for 6 episodes in a row, they can just make me say, did they really just do that? And then there's 2 or 3 more of those moments in an episode. I didn't expect that guy to die. I didn't expect Dee's identity to just casually, because I thought Dee would try to play it off, like, what are you talking about? I'm not no duster. There's so many ways that it could have went, but the idea that he wants to throw hands with Blue, if they come next episode and there's actually an agreement between these two, I'm going to be just as shocked as I will be if Blue Keeper ends up getting killed by Dee. This show, since episode 1, I said was something special, and this was a top 5 of the season, and easily a top 10 so far of this year. If we do end up getting a second season in fall like rumored, and it just continues the progression, I might even bump that shit up to a top 5 of the year, if we're being honest. Just absolutely fantastic. I did take a quick look. There wasn't too many comments because this show releases very early, so it seems like around like the 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern time is when a lot of people get around to watching it, just because there's the Meshuggah Tenseis, Demon Slayers, and all that. I'm seeing some people criticize the animation of the fight this episode. Maybe I'm crazy, but I thought this looked just as beautiful as ever. I mean, the way they were rushing and everything. There was this one moment where they did like a flip. Someone is doing flips. It was like they were swimming midair. It was just, I loved it. I thought this looked just as good as any of the other episodes, but I don't know. I guess some people are having issues with it, but then again, that could be a misrepresented opinion because when you only have a couple dozen comments to read, you know, it's not necessarily a representative of the thousands of comments that will eventually be up over the course of this day. But in case anyone asks me because they think it's like some god-awful production, no, I thought this looked just as good as ever, but I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm glad to miss it apparently because I walk out of this episode a very freaking happy camper. But let me know what you thought, because everything up until the very end is still very unexpected, but it's that I still have one last enemy to deal with, and it's like, not Blue. Everything, I liked Blue before the backstory. I like him even more after it. Just let them be BFFs. But let me know what you're feeling down below and where you expect it to go. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alrighty, so today we have Blood iOS, Samantha, that Random Man, Anime Man, Poltar, Zen Virus, A, and Ed Var. So I appreciate the support, everyone, and please take care, and you all have a good one.